Exness. 4 trillion a month, two very different brokers under one name. Here's the honest answer. Exness moves over $4 trillion in trading volume every single month, across the whole group. That's not a typo. It's one of the largest retail forex brokers on the planet by raw flow, and most traders in Europe have barely heard the name. Why? Because the Exness you sign up for in London is not the same Exness that dominates Lagos, Dubai, or Bangkok. There are essentially two Exnesses, and which one you end up with depends on the email address you get during onboarding. That's not a marketing trick. That's a regulatory reality, and it changes everything about how you should evaluate this broker. Start with what's real. Exness was founded in 2008. They publish monthly volume statistics. They publish monthly withdrawal processing data. That level of operational disclosure is genuinely rare in retail forex. Most brokers won't show you their flow numbers because they don't want you to verify them. Exness does, and the number is staggering: $4 trillion a month across the group. The catch? Most of that volume sits under entities regulated by the FSA in Seychelles and the FSCA in South Africa, not under the FCA in the UK or CySEC in Europe. So when you read, Exness is a top 10 global broker, that's true, but the version of Exness that gets you that scale isn't necessarily the version that lands in your account. Now the regulation. 6 regulators across 5 continents. CySEC in Cyprus, firm reference 178/12. FCA in the UK, firm reference 730729. FSA Seychelles, FSCA in South Africa, CBCS in Curaçao, FSC in Mauritius. 6 is a lot, but here's the mechanism most people miss. More jurisdictions doesn't mean more protection. It means more options for Exness about which entity onboards which client. The EU and UK entities give you full MiFID II and FCA retail protections, negative balance protection, segregated client funds, the compensation schemes. The Seychelles and Mauritius entities give you segregated funds and Exness's own capital. That's it. Same brand, same platform, very different legal floor. This matters most when you look at leverage. Up to 1 to 2,000 on the non-EU entities. 2,000 to 1. That's legitimate. The entities are licensed. The offer is real. But that level of leverage only exists because those jurisdictions don't cap retail leverage the way the EU does at 1 to 30. Use 1 to 2,000 with $100 and you're controlling $200,000 of currency. 0.5% move against you and the account is gone. The leverage is real. The discipline required to survive it is the part nobody markets. Okay, fees. This is where Exness genuinely shines. On the standard account, Euro-US dollar typical spread sits between 0.7 and 1.0 pips. Solid, nothing exotic. On the Pro account, it drops to 0.3 to 0.6 pips, tighter than most retail brokers can deliver. Then there's raw spread, which starts at literal 0 on Euro-US dollar with a $7 round turn commission. And the Zero account, same thing, 0 pips on the top 30 pairs. Fold the commission into the raw spread account and your all-in cost on Euro-US dollar lands at roughly 0.7 pips equivalent. Competitive with IC markets, competitive with Pepperstone. And here's the kicker. Exness publishes tick-by-tick execution data publicly. Third parties can verify the spreads aren't just marketing numbers. That's almost unheard of in this industry. Platforms. MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, both desktop and mobile. There's Exness Terminal, a browser-based web platform, and Exness Trade, their dedicated mobile app. What you don't get is heavy proprietary innovation. There's no equivalent to Pepperstone's TradingView depth, no equivalent to IG's web platform polish. Exness chose to be an execution-focused broker, not a platform builder. That's a deliberate trade. If you already live in MT4 or MT5, which a huge chunk of Forex traders do, this is a non-issue. If you want a beautiful native experience built from scratch, look elsewhere.
Withdrawals. This is the operational story most reviews skip. Exness publishes monthly withdrawal processing statistics. Instant processing on the majority of transactions under $50,000. Not, we promise fast withdrawals. Actual verified data, monthly, public. The reason that matters? In retail Forex, the single most common complaint is slow withdrawal. Brokers find creative reasons to delay them when client cash gets thin. Exness publishing the numbers monthly creates external accountability. They can't quietly slow withdrawals in a bad month because the data goes up on a public dashboard. Combined with a $10 minimum deposit, one of the lowest at any FCA or CySEC broker, the on-ramp and off-ramp are genuinely friction-free. So who is Exness actually for? If you're an active forex trader outside the EU and UK, particularly in Africa, the Middle East, Asia, or Latin America, Exness is built for you. Tight spreads, fast withdrawals, low minimum deposit, 6 regulators including a local one in most major regions. That's the design. If you're in the EU or UK, Exness works. The CySEC and FCA entities are real and properly protected, but you'll find broader retail reputation and research depth at Pepperstone or IG. And if you're in the US, this isn't even a conversation. Exness doesn't accept US retail clients. Remember the leverage number from earlier, the 1 to 2000, and the email address thing? The reason that leverage exists is the same reason most of Exness's volume sits offshore. The non-EU entities give traders what the regulated entities legally can't. Maximum leverage, looser margin, fewer guardrails. That's the global Exness. The EU and UK Exness is a different broker. Same name, same platform, smaller leverage, full retail protections, much smaller market share. Pick your entity deliberately before you fund the account, because once the money's in, switching entities means closing one and opening another from scratch. Final verdict, 8.6 out of 10. An execution-first broker operating at genuine global scale, with published operational data that actually backs up the marketing. The spreads are tight, the withdrawals are fast, the regulation is real as long as you know which version of it you're signing up for. Open an account if you're a cost-focused forex trader who understands which entity you want and already trades MT4 or MT5. Walk away if you need a polished proprietary platform, deep equity research, or the comfort of a household name brand in your home market.
Exness earns its score for cost-focused MT4 and MT5 traders. Full review linked in the